Hey, welcome to this video, and in this video I'm going to talk about how to find authority websites to guest post to, okay? And in my last video I gave you an overview on the guest posting module with the breakdown of each and every lesson. So this is the very first lesson, all right? And I'm going to show you step by step on finding those high authority websites, okay? So what you see on my screen right now is just an example, so I'm going to go through and tell you how that is done. Okay, so before that, let's just pop over to an Excel file first. Okay, so I'm going to make this Excel file available for download, and you can find the link underneath this video, or it may be sent to you alongside with the email that I forwarded to you. Okay, so for this guest posting file, I call it the guest posting template. It's got 2 tabs, all right, and later on we're going to use this as an example to fill in the fields as we do our research. But let's do a quick run through of what we have. Okay, the first tab is called the keyword tab. Okay, we're going to change the name of this, all right, to the actual keyword that we are using for our search. Okay, and then within each of these columns, there is a DS, TS, site URL, email, name, and length. I guess pretty much these are self-explanatory, and when I say length, I'm talking about the article length. Okay, that's the guest posting website requires for the submission of your article to their website. Now this one here is DS and TS. These are pretty much the metrics of the website. I'm going to talk more about what these really are, okay, later on in this video as we discover the metrics for each and every website that we are looking into. Okay, now for the second tab, this is query. Okay, so what happens is that when we are doing the research for sites that are asking for guest posting, all right, or rather websites that we want to guest post to, there are a few things that we want to put into the search bar in the Google search query. Okay, the search query bar. All right, so let me show you how. Let's take dog training as an example. So if dog training is our keyword, then I'm gonna put it this way. Okay, and what happens is that if you do want to keep an original copy of the template, just go ahead and right click and Excel, move or copy, create a copy, and then just kind of move it to the end. Right, so since I've changed the name, I'm going to change it back to keyword like that. Oops, oh, just hold a sec. Okay, so now we're going to use this dog training. I'm going to fill up the fields or the cells right here as we continue with our research. Okay, I just want to make it a little bit smaller right now, so let's move on. Okay, so first thing first, what we're gonna do is to copy one of those queries, and I only have 3 here. There are actually a lot more, and you can find a lot more in guest post guides out there. So just type in guest post guides, guidelines, or help, or blog, or article onto search on the search bar, and then you should be able to find a lot of SEO gurus out there writing articles on guest posting. And the thing is, I've actually really limited myself to 3 because pretty much the long list, I've tried a lot of them, and sometimes most of them don't really return very good results, or they may only have a few. And these are the ones that I've tested that actually gives you pretty good results for what you're looking for. So if you want to expand the list of footprints or other queries to do that, go ahead and do so. But pretty much I prefer less is more, so that once we have find enough, all right, we don't need a ton, right, just enough, we can concentrate on our efforts to move on to the next step and get forward with our guest posting task. Okay, so One of those that I like a lot is Right For Us. It really gives a ton of very good results. So I'm going to copy this right here and oops, not now, okay, for this one. So let's go back to our Google. All right, and I'm just going to go to the home page this time, and then I can paste that in. It's Right For Us, okay, so with the quotes, okay, and then after that, the keyword, in this case, dog training, and just press enter. What happens is now you have a list of sites that actually, are looking for article contributors. For example, Right For Us, the modern dog trainer. Okay, so if you are going to write something about dog training, if you have a dog training website, you should approach these websites. Okay, and we want to contact them and eventually broker a deal so that we could put our guest post articles on their website and get a backlink of their sites. Okay, now once we have typed this in, press on the search bar, and what happens is we have this. Now we're going to investigate each one of this website one by one. So first thing first is just to read the results. Make sure that either in the title it says Right For Us, or that within the description itself it says something like Right For Us. Okay, or it doesn't have to have the phrase Right For Us on both. Okay, it's either that you find it in the title or you find it in the description below. If it's missing in both areas, then you know that that is not a good result. Pretty much if you were to click on that link, it would be something else. All right, so you can pretty much skip that result and just move on. Okay, so let's see here. So we have the first one, Right For Us, the modern dog trainer. So right click on that and let's go over. Okay, so this is a typical page, says Right For Us, and then usually in bullet points it tells you what are the requirements and stuff. All right, and in fact they also tell you the word length. Of course, some sites don't actually give you all the information, but you should be able to find a place where you can contact them. Either they'll give you their email or they will give you a contact form to reach out to them. Okay, so this is a very valid Right For Us results page. Okay, so in fact we know that the modern dog trainer is looking for article contribution, so that is half the battle won. Right, somebody is actually actively looking for guest posts. So now it's our turn to reach out to them and ask for the opportunity to post our articles on their website. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Okay, so now what we're going to do first is to investigate whether this website is high authority, whether it's worthy of us posting to this website at all. Now, having said that, I kind of actually made it very simplistic. Any new websites, all right, may not have the authority right from the start. It may have a very low metric figures, okay, as we are doing our research using SEMrush. All right, I'm going to cover more on that one later. My point is that for the simplicity, I'm just going to do a cutoff, and that when you're doing your guest posting yourself, you should discern whether you wanna accept that website or not. Okay, so but in this training video, I'm just gonna keep it simple and just look purely at the metrics. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Now let's go ahead and do the investigation. So what I'm going to do is to copy the domain name for this website. So I'm just going to go to the browser and go right to the top and copy the URL name. And then what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to pop over to SEMrush. Okay, there are a few metrics tool, or rather SEO metrics tools that you can use. One is SEMrush, and then there are also others such as Ahrefs, Majestic, or even Moz. Okay, so my personal favorite is SEMrush, and I know that a lot of SEO gurus out there also use Ahrefs. So these are the top two that is popular. But I prefer SEMrush because they've got the site audits and a lot of stuff that I use all in one place. So I pretty much just use this tool most of the time. Okay, so I would naturally also use this tool for the metric evaluation. Okay, so if you are using SEMrush, then what happens is that you're gonna go to under domain analytics, and then after that go down to backlinks. Okay, just click on that, and then let the page refresh. All right, so what we're going to do now is to just paste in the domain right at the top here and click on check it. And when that happens, it actually returns the domain score and the trust score. So these are the metrics for the website. The higher it is, the better. Okay, so domain score and trust score. Now, most of the time, I would prefer the trust score over the domain score, but really, I look at both of them at the same time. So the higher for both of these metrics is the better. Okay, and if like I said, for simplicity's sake, I'm going to cut off at 10. Okay, for the trust score. Domain score, I'm not so particular about it. Okay, so long the trust score is more than 10. All right. So the thing is that there's a couple of things we look out for. So number one is that I'll prefer to document any websites with a trust score of more than 10. And number two is that I would also want to make sure that the trust score is higher than the domain score. So if they're just one or two scores apart, that's fine. But if you're finding something that says the domain score, it's say a 50, but the trust score it's like say 11, then although it's more than 10, I might actually I would not consider it because of SEO reasons. Okay, so if you want to know why, just reach out to me and I'll share this with you. Okay, so let's just focus here. So in this case, now we have looked at the domain score and trust score. This is not something I would want to go for based on the criteria that I've mentioned. Okay, 10 or more for the trust score. So I'm gonna skip that. Excuse me. Okay, so in that case, let's close this and then let's move on to the next one, right? Okay, so on this page, want to write for the dog training secrets, so that's a very relevant result. And here's all the requirements again, but first thing first, let's quickly look through the metrics on SEMrush. And all right, so let's go over. Now this time around, since I'm already on the page, I'm just gonna overwrite the domain name and just click on search. Okay, so now here we have a 12 and a 30, so this is good. Okay, trust score, it's higher than the domain score, that's fine. And then we've got a trust score of more than 10. So in this case, I'm gonna pop right back to my Excel file and then go to the dog training tab, and then we're going to fill in, right? So what it says there just now was that it says 12 and 30. So let's go back to the Excel. So it says 12 and 30. Okay, so now we have we have listed this as one of the potential site to guest post to. So we want to capture some of the essential information that's going to make our work later on a lot easier. Okay, in the next lesson, you will appreciate why we need if not all of these data. So let's move back here, and we would want the dog training secrets. Well, in fact, I still have it in my clipboard, so I'm just gonna click on that, paste it here, and then let's go to copy the URL. And by saying the URL, I'm actually referring to the page where they are inviting people for article contributions. Okay, so just paste that in, and then after that, we're going to look for the email. Okay, so usually you'll find it in the page, so just read through, and then ta-da, it's just right here. So okay, we're gonna copy that and paste it in. Okay, so you notice that sometimes they make spaces and all that, and it's really because they want to battle spam from website scrapers that is used by spammers. So just fix it up and make sure that it is a proper email address in a proper format. Okay, and personally, I really hate the hyperlink. Okay, it's totally up to you, but for me, I really hate it, so I will remove it. The reason is because when they have the hyperlink, it makes it really difficult to select the cell, okay? And next, the name, okay? So let's just look through this. Usually you'll find a name, beside the email address. If it's missing, then just leave it blank. I mean, it will be good to have the name so that we could address the person directly when we're sending out the first email for initial contact. But if there isn't, then hi works just fine. Okay, so the length. All right, so I'm going to scan through and see what's the length, and in this case it's 800 to 1500 words. So let's paste that in, and voila, we're done. Okay, and that's it, right? And then what we are going to do now is to repeat the process. Okay, so I'm gonna close this, and then I'm gonna do one more, okay, for illustration. Okay, show you step by step one more time. So here is another result. I want to be a doggone writer. That's interesting. So I want to write for us. So yes, this is a relevant page. Okay, and again, we're going to investigate the metrics for this website. So Control C, copy that, and I'm gonna pop over to SEMrush again. Okay, just gonna paste that right in, search. Okay, so it's got a domain score of 18 and trust score of 0. So in that case, doesn't actually meet my criteria. So I'm gonna skip that. Okay, so in that case, let's find one more that actually, it's something that we want. So here's another one, Chelsea dogs. Okay, so let's copy this. Let's find out the metrics first. 13. All right, so next one then. So as you can see, even if while I'm trying to search for the second one, really this is what's happening live, right? This is how it looks like when you're doing the research on your own. So you're just going through side by side, and then just documenting those that meet the criteria. So I don't know about this one. Let's hope that it meets the criteria. Oh, all right. So now, by rejecting again, and it doesn't mean that it's a bad website, and in fact it was nicely designed and all that stuff. The thing is that when we are doing the guest posting for SEO purposes, if you're trying to get the backlinks, of course you want to concentrate your efforts on high authority websites, okay? So that when you get a backlink from high authority websites, it actually gives you a lot more boost than any other low authority websites, okay? So for lack of better term, all right? So just take note that I do not mean that those are lousy websites, all right? It's just that we are following simply with the metrics guidelines that I've just given. Okay, so this one is good. It's trust score 29, domain score, yeah, it's low, but pretty much it's got a good trust score. Okay, so let's go ahead and document this down. So we've got a 4 and a 29. So let's move over to our Excel file, and I was put in 4 and 29. Paste the site name, grab the URL. Okay, you always want to grab the URL where it says the right for yada yada site, because after a while you probably need all this as well to just quickly go back and look at their requirements. So it's important to capture where these requirements are actually documented on the site. Now let's get the email. So you can see that it's right here. Okay, info@pubjournal.com, and all right, so make sure you read which email is actually the one you should write to. So if you like to contribute a picture of your dog rather than write an article, go to submit your pub or email, all right? So if you want to submit an article, and I guess you have to write to editor@pubjournal.com. So make sure you don't just, kind of pick the first thing that you notice. Read or scan through very quickly and make sure you get the right stuff, okay? So that will prevent any misunderstanding, okay? or problems later on. So in fact, they have the form right here. Okay, so what it says here for this website is that if you want to submit a picture, use this, right? Use this email here. If you want to know more about their audience, reach out to them here. And if you're ready to submit, then you could fill up the contact form here. So I would prefer to copy this, okay? And the thing is that, remember, we're going to do the first initial contact with them to ask them more about the guest posting opportunity. So in this case, it will be good and it will be wise to contact the editor. All right. And did they actually mention how many words there is? So I don't actually see any numbers just by simply scanning through this. So in that case, if you don't know, just leave it blank. We could ask them, later on. All right, so there you go. Okay, I could go on and on. So in fact, you should with your research, and what you do is that you go on, and then after that you go on to the next page, and usually I would go down to even the 10th page and capture as many as I can. Okay, so let's just jump to the 6th page, for example. Just want to show you that as you go down the pages, what happens is that the results tend to be a little bit more less relevant. So you do really want to look out, like for example, you see this one right here, it says right for us, okay? And for example, this one right here, you don't actually see anything that says right for us, and you know that pretty much it's not a relevant result. You want to skip that, okay? So let's take a look at this one, okay? I want to show you something. Okay, so this one right here, as you can see, is actually an article. All right. Based on the examples that you saw just now, you should have a clear idea now how the right for us, relevant page looks like, right? This is just an article. So why did it turn up in the results page? And that's really because for most part, Google picks up that there's a link, or rather there is a phrase right for us right here. So if you do stumble upon some of these that looks like that, all right, then just click on right for us and you should be fine. Okay, so there you go. And you see that, well, we have something that looks like this. Okay, so just read through again, and then do the steps that I've shown you. All right, now there's also one more thing I want to point out, and that is if they were to say, hey, or rather there is no email, then they say that please contact us on the contact form. And if the contact form is available on the same page as well, then just instead of writing email, just put in contact form. Okay, contact form. Or if you want to make it life simpler for you, then if it's on the different page for that contact form, when there's no email available, then you may want to paste in the URL right here as well. Okay, so that's making sure that you document the avenue, all right, for the contact, the method to contact the webmasters for the sites. All right, so I hope this tutorial or this video is straightforward and crystal clear. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. And one last thing is that if you have more questions about the tool to use like SEMrush or Ahref, I've also included the links so that you could check them out. Now they are all paid tools, so but if you are serious about doing guest posting, you should invest in one of these tools. Okay, and thank you very much for watching. And again, like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to write to me. Bye for now.